Coming up on Tekzilla, wireless charging with a Powermat, build your own password-protected thumb drive, a roundup of Windows 7 questions, DIY, Wi-Fi spectrum analysis, and mayhem! So heat up the apple pie and scoop out the ice cream, because Tekzilla starts now. This episode of Tekzilla is made possible by GoToAssist Express, GoDaddy, and Squarespace. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Welcome to Tekzilla, hands-on reviews of the latest tech and how to make the most out of the gear you've already got.
Whether you're a beginner, tech support for your friends and family, if you've got a question about tech or the meanest cup of coffee on Highway 50, we've got an answer for you.
Yeah, let's not talk about that coffee.
Not so good, huh?
No, my goodness.
Not so much with the good coffee.
It's a beautiful empty driving area, wonderful part of the world, great off-roading, and some nasty coffee.
Apparently this is my new hand symbol for good coffee.
Good coffee.
Good coffee.
By the way, props to Coffee Geek. He does amazing stuff with
Yes.
coffee. He's actually ruining...
Coffee Geek on Twitter.
He's ruining the simplicity of my coffee lifestyle.
Really?
Yeah, because I'd given up on the whole, like, you know, specialty coffees and home grinding and
Have a conversation with me sometime about specialty coffees and home brewing techniques. We should, yeah, we'll have a whole segment on that one of these days.
On the shiny new car front, I got a chance to drive a couple of Fords last week. The Ford Escape plug-in hybrid, 45 miles on all electric if you keep your foot out of it. You basically, it's a big plug, you plug it into the house, it charges up the car, you can drive electric. And it's a kind of engine, I should point out, so that if you run out of electricity, you don't run out of momentum. The Ford Focus, well, it's not really a Focus, it's a test mule, basically. They have a fully electric drivetrain inside of it, a whole bunch of batteries. Figure 2012 for the next-gen Focus, the worldwide platform. I gotta say, I was impressed at how clean both of them drove. I was delighted, actually.
I read some interesting news last week, actually, when I went on Buzz Out Loud about how it's going to be a big issue, especially in California, with plugging in hybrids and the amount of power it's going to take to sustain that whole segment of car culture now. Well, and how there's going to be like big brownout problems in the summertime when people are driving a lot and plugging in their cars and also running their air conditioners, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I was talking to. It's something that people want to talk about, but something that it's kind of like it's like catching a water droplet. They don't really want to be cornered on it when you try to corner them one-on-one. But basically, if you're worried about the availability of electricity for overnight charging, because some cars suck down an unbelievable amount of wattage when you're charging them. The new Teslas, actually, apparently they can suck down, in theory, as much as 19 kilovolts, but are running like 15 kilovolts when they're going unhinged, right? Or in full charging mode. But you basically need to like call up your Public Utilities Commission and tell them to be ready, because they need to be prepared for it. Because it's going to be it's going to be an early adopter curve. How many people are going to have them? I think it's going to
cross that bridge when we come to it, kind of thing too. I think, although we should be prepared infrastructure-wise for this eventuality.
There are industry groups that are working very hard, and there's a lot of interest from the utilities because they basically don't want their grids to go south. It's bad.
Charging at night, though, would be a good, one of the ways that you could combat that.
Yeah, but as you brought up, like I used to live in North Jersey, the land of the terminal brownout in August at 1 a.m. or the terminal blackout at 1 a.m. because everybody would finally break down and like, I'll pay the extra $20 in the electrical bill, and they'd fire up the AC.
I spent quite a few summers in New Jersey. I can relate.
You know what I mean? It's like that 1 a.m. and all the lights go off and everybody's AC goes off. So, during a lot of the part of the year and a lot of part of the world, the overnight electrical demands are considerably lower, right? And it's an opportunity to sell more electricity for the utilities, which they like making money, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, start calling if you want to drive electric. Start calling now.
Oh hey, and Roku actually fired out the new top-of-the-line Roku XR, which you might notice looks almost exactly like the Roku HD digital video player. The Roku XR adds 802.11n networking along with the USB port for future use.
Ooh.
For future use. Local storage on a hard drive, anyone? The regular Roku HD with 802.11b, G, and no USB port will stay at $99, and a new standard def only box, the Roku SD, will sell for $79.99.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, it's kind of funny.
$79.99
It's
thing?
cheaper. It's just got a composite port and nothing else.
I think maybe move that a little bit further down.
Yeah.
Like maybe a $59.99 kind of thing. But who am I? I'm not
$12.
$50. $10. Hey, and very soon you'll be able to watch Tekzilla and all the rest of the Revision 3 lineup on all Roku boxes. that's very exciting.
It is very exciting.
I like how we're getting our little stinky fingers into, wait, that sounded bad. We're getting our little sticky fingers into everything.
A few people wrote in with a heads up on TrueCrypt and Windows 7.
Stinky fingers?
Ms. Stinky Fingers. What did Chris have to say? You're the one who said it. Don't be waving them stinky fingers in my direction.
Stinky fingers. Chris said.
Gilman this weekend. Gilman. Gilman's a place to watch punk in a street in Berkeley. Gilroy, however, is the heart of the world of garlic in North America.
Yes, I've always wanted to go to the garlic festival in Gilroy. I have not been, which is crazy because I love garlic. But we are digressing, and Chris has a very important question. He says, guys, maybe the announcement came after you shot this week's episode.
It did.
It did, by the way. But TrueCrypt now fully supports Windows 7. Squee! Yay, squee! So our favorite free open source encryption tool is totally Win 7 friendly now, and it's been updated for Snow Leopard 2. So how cool is that? Thanks to everyone that emailed with that piece of updated goodness. Meanwhile, from the Hey, something I first saw 2 or 3 years ago at CES is finally a real product department.
I know that department. I've been at that department.
We got an email saying, Tekzilla, please review the new Powermat. Power cords always disappear in my house. Is it worth paying $100 for the mat and $20 to $30 for the receivers? Thank you, Brian in Washington.
Well, actually, Brian, think $30 to $40 for the Powermat receivers, which is a device like this, which if I don't drop it.
Nice catch.
Thank you. I'm getting better about that. So basically, this is a Powermat receiver. It's going to plug into my iPhone 3G here, and think like 30 to 40 bucks for one of these. And the idea is that once it is wrapped around my phone, so basically it plugs into notice the missing power port. If you want to sync with the Powermat's receiver on, you're going to plug in this USB cable. But now it's got this big lump on the back.
It does have a little bit of a lump there. It's like the hunchback case.
Everyone listen very quietly. There it is.
It's like a tribble.
And basically a little white light goes on in the front, and you are experiencing the miracle of inductive charging.
Okay, so I saw this a couple years ago at CES, and I think they actually won the Best of CES award. It was when I was still at CNET, actually. And I was thinking, wow, this is a really great product. You know, they were talking about putting chips actually into devices, like working with OEM manufacturers, so you wouldn't have to have this. Oh, now it's doing it.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to have this lump here on the back. It would actually be built into the actual phone, which would be great.
Right.
But they haven't done that yet, and you know, this is like, why not use a cord at this point?
Well,
if you have to have all this extra crap on it, it's like I might as well just plug it in.
None of my iPod docks make a tribble noise when I drop things on them. Yeah, look, for anybody, and this is actually, Powermat was out in force along with a couple other companies at this last CES 2009. It's inductive charging, so it's electromagnetic induction, which is a conductor picking up a charge in a wireless field. So basically this receives the charge in the wireless field. This basically the wireless, or the magnetic energy is coming out of the Powermat. So I'm kind of afraid to drop my keys on it. Don't think anything will happen. There's no shocking here. There's no heat. There's no pain. There's no sparks.
This kind of reminds me of the Palm Pre-charger.
Yeah.
You know, you just stick it right on there and it works right away.
I'm sure it is.
And that's built right in. So you don't have to have this big lumpy McGee on the back here.
Well, I think I'm sure Powermat has a bunch of business development people that are knocking furiously on doors all around the world to get the Powermat technology
And I love the idea, but I've always wanted it to be like, I can just stick this in a drawer and then just shove all my gadgets into the drawer and they'll all charge wirelessly and I don't even have to worry about it. You know, but at this point, this is still tethered to the wall, so it still has to be on my desk or on my console table in the living room. I'm still going to have to put the gadget in the same spot every time. Why not just plug it in and not worry about all the...
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you want to be like, I'm charging!
I know!
Look, I'm
That's
charging.
what I want! The future is now. Where's my jetpack?
Where is my jetpack? I did actually like one of the things they had at one of the booths at CES was basically like wall-based charging units and ones that were sunk into a desktop, so you could move your monitor.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, you know, all it takes is money.
That's cool.
And time.
So this is not yet worth it to me, really.
Okay.
It's going to take some time for this to be smaller and for this to be, like, the range to be wider, so it doesn't have to have direct contact. You know, it's going to take some time. It's just a little bit too expensive right now for me to give up this old buddy.
But it does work. And it works, as near as I can tell, just as well as plugging it into the wall.
Is this a non-standard mini USB?
No, that's a mini USB. It better be.
This little guy?
It looks like a mini USB.
It's mini USB, but it doesn't. It looks like it's a proprietary tip there.
Well, we're going to go find a mini USB thing to plug this into. In the meantime,
proprietary.
I don't think it's, well, we'll see. Hey, we're going to do some DIY Wi-Fi spectrum analysis. This is really cool. Channalyzer, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. We're going to show it off with the actual hardware that makes it work. But while we got your attention,
Want us to take control of your PC or Mac and figure out what's ailing it here on Tekzilla? Then stay tuned. Here at Tekzilla, we definitely know what it's like when you're trying to tech support a friend or family member over the phone. What should take a few minutes can take an hour as you describe step by step after step. There has to be a better way, and there is. It's called GoToAssist Express. It's remote computer tech support without all the hassle. This is how it works. First, sign up for a free 30-day account at GoToAssist.com/Tekzilla. Then log in and click on Start Support Session. After the client downloads and starts, log into your GoToAssist Express account. Then just tell your friend to head on over to www.fastsupport.com and give them the 9-digit support key. If your friend is really in over their heads, you can send them an email or IM with a link instead. Voila! Now you're in control of their entire machine. You can access settings, launch applications, and even surf the web remotely on their computer. Plus, GoToAssist will work on any Windows or OS X machine. So you can tech support a Mac or a PC from a Mac or a PC. How's that for easy? And to sweeten the pot, you can try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days. Just visit GoToAssist.com/Tekzilla. That's it. Just go to www.GoToAssist.com/Tekzilla for a free trial. Plus, when you sign up, send us the GoToAssist Express confirmation email with GoToAssist Help in the subject line. We might select you and tweak your machine via GoToAssist Express on Tekzilla November 9th. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up now.
Welcome to the Tekzilla Gadget of the Week. The gadget, gear, or piece of technology we absolutely can't live without. This week's pick, ICDock's 2.5 to 3.5 inch drive converter. If you plan on upgrading your desktop PC with a solid-state drive, you probably noticed it's too small for a standard 3.5 inch drive bay. Enter ICDock's 2.5 to 3.5 inch SSD and SATA hard disk drive converter, aka the MB882SP. This clever device adapts any 2.5 inch hard drive for use in a 3.5 inch drive bay. All you need to do is open it up, drop in your drive, and close the lid. No tools necessary. As you close the lid, the mechanism automatically secures the drive and slides it into the SATA and power port extenders. The converter also features a universal hard disk drive mounting thread so you can install it into any PC, RAID enclosure, or external drive case that already accepts a 3.5 inch drive. And if you're worried about overheating, ventilation slots in the front and back ensure that air will enter and exit the case. The construction is solid and metal screw threads mean you can reuse it over and over again without fear of breaking it or wearing it out. So if you want to ensure that $250 SSD drive has a good home, do yourself a favor and invest in ICDock's 2.5 inch to 3.5 inch hard disk drive converter. You know, there's one thing I didn't point out about the Powermat.
What's that?
When you buy the $100 base, it actually has a collection of tips. It's got this little power cube adapter and it's a bunch of tips. So it's got, you know, LG, Samsung, Sony, the DS Lite, micro USB. Hold that one for a second. But basically, so if you don't want to spend $40 for one of the external enclosures, you can have sort of wired wireless charging, which is probably going to cause you to froth at the mouth, and I think quite reasonably so. But if you want to get started without a base, look at that.
There it goes.
Yeah.
Not.
Well, it's not plugged in.
Ah,
no
that's
power.
why.
It's not that
My
wireless yet. Also, so that whole new foreign phone standard that's going to be taking over the universe with standardized charging for every single cell phone?
micro SD, I know.
Yeah, so but both of us looked at this.
And not micro SD, micro USB.
Tiny USB, so it is a standardized cable.
I know.
Well, it's just.
I'm just not used to looking at them. They look funny to me.
I think they'll be everywhere soon.
Well, way back in episode 92, we got all excited about Insider, a nifty free open source tool for tracking Wi-Fi activity and figuring out what channels you should avoid when you're setting up a Wi-Fi network. Well, we weren't able to demo MetaGeek's companion product, Channalyzer, because we didn't have the nifty Wi-Spy USB. So, you got it with you? Let's see it.
I do actually. So I'm running Channalyzer right now. Channalyzer 3.3 from MetaGeek, metageek.net. It's spectrum analysis for 2.4 and 5.0 gigahertz networks, 802.11b, G, N on 2.4 gigahertz, A and N on 5 gigahertz networks. And I got to say, having run this in a few different places, the 5 gigahertz spectrum is empty compared to 2.4 gigahertz, which has, like, you know, microwaves and cell phones, and not cell phones, like portable phones, and anything that's like cheap wireless is always on 2.4 gigahertz, it seems like. So what we're looking at right here is the main window. I've actually started the analysis. So we got the spectral view, which gives you an idea of basically activity in a particular area, the topographic view, which gives you an analysis of the strength against the frequency, and the planar view, which is basically just a signal to noise. So if I go in here, and I'm going to do a couple things real quick, okay, so that's channel 5 in Wi-Fi, and that's channel 9 right there. And if I go into the Wi-Fi section here, I've started scanning. And if I click on SSD, it gives me a graph of every single Wi-Fi router that it detects. So if you notice stuff going on in the background like this, it could be somebody with like the mother router that has a bunch of stuff going on but doesn't have an SSID being broadcast. It could be other things in the area. Right now I'm going to uncheck this. I'm going to go back to revision 3, which is our own home network, and that'll give me an idea of what's going on. R3. Wow, the activity. This must be the one in the, the one you can't see here, I think is in our office, like 75 yards down the hallway. You can just barely see it down there. So one thing that's going on, you notice there's like a little bit of green here and a little bit of green here, and basically as it goes from green to yellow to red, it's basically implying that a lot more is going on there. And the idea here is, if I'm going to uncheck these channel highlighters, this is actually a download, that big fat giant download that's going on right here locally at our router, which is part of the reason why there's what basically amounts to congestion on here. If I stop that download, it'll start looking almost exactly like the stuff over here. What's really fun though is like I can get an idea of like, you know, what frequency is this stuff running on here at. You can record it, which is what they recommend you do, is like record for like 24 hours in an area before you start setting up your Wi-Fi. But the really fun thing is, I think, is looking at the signatures. So this is an 802.11b signature. Is you highlight it over here on the right, and you drag it over, and you'd be like, oh, there's a lot of 802.11b running in the building. And 802.11g is a much more square signature. 802.11n, this is like dual bonded channels, which I'm wondering if there's like some people running some crazy N with hidden SSIDs up here, maybe.
Maybe.
And then you got like a Bosch wireless microphone looks like this, a Graco video monitor looks like this, the little spikes down there. So it gives you a whole bunch of stuff. The microwave, actually, they're saying it looks like this. I've actually noticed in a lot of cases it's more of a zigzag line that shows up here.
Oh, cool.
It looks pretty crazy, but the idea is that they're going to give you all these tools, you know, to identify all these weird little frequency spikes in the topographic view. I think it's really actually kind of fascinating. And everybody, there's like 4 people I know in the office, but like, you got to loan me that before you send it back. You got to loan me that. It's expensive for the Wi-Spy DBX, which is the only one that does 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz. $600. That's professional tool range. I know it's going to hurt a lot of people to think about. The Wi-Spy 2.4i, which is the basic 2.4 gigahertz version, $100, super cheap. 2.4x costs $199. So that's kind of like, you know, sort of advancing and getting into more sophisticated feature sets. But you know, if you're a network engineer, if you're running an office, if you're setting up new offices all the time, I think it could be a prudent investment if you want to figure out what's going on, or if you've got crazy net. We always get emails, people like, there's one room in the house is where Wi-Fi goes to die, and you could run something like this and try to figure out what's going on in there, or if you have a Faraday cage built into your home. So it happens.
So you can get that at MetaGeek.net.
MetaGeek.net, which is nice people, good site. We should point out the Wi-Spy also works with Channalyzer Lite, Recon 2, Wireless Mon, and more, or at least the DBX version. And yeah, MetaGeek.net.
Very, very cool. It's a little up there in terms of price, but definitely cool to check out.
$100 isn't bad for spectrum analysis.
$100 isn't bad, no.
$600, well, compared to like one of the first Wi-Fi, like Ethernet analysis tools,
it's like a pro tool.
Yeah, I mean, I've been handed like $3,000 network analysis tools, so a lot of people out there are like, okay, $600.
Point taken.
Well, I might 4 before the end of the year, and I run out of my funding.
Well, coming up next, your Windows 7 questions. But first, it's time now to thank one of our sponsors, Squarespace. And here to tell us more is our intern, Kaylee.
Hello, Kaylee the intern here to tell you about Squarespace. Did you know that most employers will do a Google search on their job candidates before hiring? That goes for interns too. Now, before getting my internship here at Revision 3, I wanted something out there online that would represent me in a professional way. That's where Squarespace came in. And there were a few music blogs out there that really caught my eye with their clean, colorful, yet sort of minimalist design, and I wanted to model my site after them. After buying KayleeEmerson.com, I started by picking one of Squarespace's designer templates and adjusting the layout, block positioning, colors, and more until I was happy with what I had on screen. Then, after some feedback from my Twitter followers, I had a beautiful finished product in a little corner of the internet I was proud to call my own. I didn't have to do any of the coding. Squarespace handled all the back work. Now, I built my site from scratch, but if you already have a blog or website somewhere else, you can use Squarespace's shiny new blog importer tool. Right now, it's the only thing out there like it. It will bring over all of your WordPress, Blogger, TypePad, and movable type posts and pages over to Squarespace with just one click. It will also migrate all of your comments, tags, authors, media, and search engine optimizations so you won't lose your Google PageRank. And for all you Tekzilla fans, use the code TEKZ to get 10% off of your entire order for life. That leaves you with pretty much no excuse to keep putting off building your own website. So go to squarespace.com and use the code TechZ now.
Looks like it's time for another website we just can't get enough of. A website that we just can't stay away from because it's too useful, too funny, or just too darn irresistible. This week's pick, Twit Critics. If you love movies, but you're sick of all those hoity-toity movie reviewers trying to tell you what's good, check out Twit Critics. On the Twit Critics front page, you'll see a list of some of the newest movies out there, along with a rating percentage. The higher the percentage, obviously, the better the movie is ranking on the site. Twit Critics scans Twitter for mentions of the films, and then uses what I can only assume is magic to figure out which tweets are positive about the movie or negative. I kid, of course, but with this kind of system, there are always going to be a few errors. Like Paranormal Activity has only a 52%, while the Toy Story 3D double feature has 81%? Yeah, I don't buy it. But who knows? This is the people talking here. We're not all Roger Ebert, and personal taste will vary. Yet this is a great tool for just getting the pulse of what people are saying about the latest releases at a glance. So, before you buy your tickets, see what people are saying on Twit Critic first.
All right, Windows 7 last week. One question we didn't answer, well, is of desperate concern to many online gamers. Joe writes in between raids, "Hey Pat and Veronica, I am an avid World of Warcraft player and I'm thinking about upgrading to Windows 7 from XP. Do I need to do anything special when transferring WoW over to Windows 7, or would it be similar to when I put it on XP? I heard there were a lot of problems with WoW and Vista, hence I never got Vista." Joe in Arkansas.
Yeah, well, I haven't upgraded yet either, so you'll definitely hear it from me if there are any issues, but the general lack of howling from the WoW community leads me to believe that everything is working pretty well at this point. So I'd say go for it.
Yeah, I mean, well, WoW users are like Photoshop users. They live on it, they live for it, it's important, and if there were major problems, you know.
Yeah, I checked wow.com especially to see if there had been any major blog posts about it, and no one said anything. There wasn't really any big issue. So I think you're going to be fine. That said, unless you use something like Laplink's PC Mover, you'll be formatting your hard drive, installing Windows 7, then reinstalling all your applications, including WoW. There's no direct upgrade from XP to 7, unfortunately.
Yeah, without third-party software. So back it up before you wipe it when you install Windows 7.
Yeah, I'll be doing that soon myself on my gaming box. So
back up twice.
See how that
install
goes.
once. It's not that we're not scared of updating Windows 7. It's just that we're scared of updating any operating system on any platform.
It's just a pain in the ass. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, when you have to do a clean install, it's a pain in the butt. Am I right?
Well, I got to say, like, is it a pain? Yes, but a clean install makes me feel much more comfortable.
It's like spring cleaning. It's like a nice, like, you know, new start, a clean slate, and it's more safer than, you know, just upgrading. Right. But still, pain in the ass.
You just want to go like this with a magic wand and be like, new operating system. Cloning Windows 7, Meldon writes in, "Hi, just bought a copy of Windows 7 and I was wondering what the best option for cloning a copy of my installation." Dude.
Yeah, we said it. Same as we recommended for cloning your XP or Vista before you upgrade. Macrium Reflect Free is Windows 7 compliant.
Yeah, it's fast, it's easy. Roger's tested it, we've tested it. It's good, and it's free. Did we mention free?
We did mention free.
Speaking of nearly free.
Can students buy Windows 7 for $30? Allie writes in, check out win741.com. If you follow that link, you'll get a link for students to buy Windows 7 for $30. Yet my university, Penn State, has it for $80. Is this a scam?
Well, first of all, I want to say I trust the parties in University Park still rock, assuming you're on main campus. And I don't know what win741.com is, but the $30 Windows 7 offer from Microsoft to college students is legit. They're trying to get you hooked on Microsoft products and keep you from downloading pirated copies. I hear that's big on the college campuses.
Maybe his college is trying to gleam a little extra from the top.
Well,
selling it for $80, and it depends on the version, I guess.
Yeah, I think part of it's just like, because there's like student discounts, and the $30 student discount is like a super straight from Microsoft discount. And actually, we should point out, go to Microsoft.com/student. It is a spectacularly ugly website, I have to say. But you can pick up Win 7 for $30 direct from Microsoft. They offer the Office Ultimate version for $60, which is a steal, and a whole lot more up there.
Yeah, first taste is always free. Ooh.
Bobber has a question about the OEM versions of Windows 7. What happens if I upgrade my PC with an OEM license? Can I do it? and how many times?
Well, Bobber, it's a fresh, clean, wipe the hard drive type of install because it's supposed to be installed on a new machine. You can keep installing on that same machine over and over. If you want to install it on the hundreds of machines you build every month, you need to talk with Microsoft's sales department.
Yeah, because you need the OEM discount licensing. Yeah. Coming up next, we got some more viewer questions for you, but first, GoDaddy.com, people. If you want to make an impact online, GoDaddy.com has what you need. .com names result was $1.99. World-class hosting, fast and easy website builders, and quite a bit more. GoDaddy.com makes it easy to customize your own virtual dedicated server. Choose one of 3 popular plans or select your own Linux or Windows server with all the plan options you need. Now, here's how you score a discount. You enter in code TK5, that's TECH5 when you check out. You'll save an additional $10 off any order of $40 or more. Some restrictions do apply. See the site for details, and definitely check out revision3.com/GoDaddy. You'll get all the Tekzilla GoDaddy deals and codes, so you can find the deal that nets you the most savings. Do us a favor here at Tekzilla. Get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy.com, and please use a TEK code when you do.
A few weeks ago, we held a live Dim meeting during the taping of our show, and many of you joined in on the chat. We even grabbed some questions from those of you in the chat room to answer on the show itself. Well, in case you missed out, don't worry. We're doing it again next week.
Woohoo!
Yay! Just sign up for a free Dim account at dimdim.com/Tekzilla, and you'll automatically receive an invite to join us on November 2nd for a live casting of our next episode. If you already have an account, head over to Tekzilla.com and look for the widget in the show notes, which will lead you right into the meeting page. Chat with us and other viewers as we shoot Tekzilla, and if you come armed with a question or two, we might just pick it and answer it live on the show.
Common's got an email, and he's talking about encryption and USB drives. He writes in, I have a Transcend USB flash drive, and I'm wondering if there's a way to lock it with a password, rendering it unusable without that password. I realized I could password protect each file and folder individually, but that would be a lot of work. It would also be great if I didn't need to install software onto the computer for it to work. Is there a way to do this, or do I just need to buy a drive that already has this capability built in? Common.
Yes, well, the issue with this is that a lot of software that you can buy needs it to be installed on the host computer, the one you're plugging the USB drive into, like you mentioned. So you can't just take it with you on the go and open it up anywhere with a password. TrueCrypt will actually has like a mobile version that will allow you to do this. It requires TrueCrypt to be running on the host computer, and it needs admin rights. So if you don't have the admin rights on the computer that you're installing it on, you're going to have a problem.
Which basically means if you want to drag a USB thumb drive that's encrypted from kiosk to kiosk, or insert name of FedEx, Office, Kinko's thing, you're not going to have admin rights, trust us.
But you can actually put it in a container on the USB drive, so TrueCrypt is running on the flash drive as well. So then you can just put the password in, and I don't think then you need it installed on the host computer.
This is good.
So that's good. There's also some software called Folder Lock, which I've heard mixed reviews on. I've actually heard of some people losing their data and not being able to get onto their USB drive, and it's a little on the expensive side, I think. I think it's around $30 or $40 if I remember correctly. But it doesn't require the software to be installed on the host computer. So that's good. Pen Protect is another one that I read about. It's an app that you copy onto the thumb drive and launch it from there. It can encrypt an entire USB thumb drive or selected items, and it uses a 256-bit AES encryption key. Single user license is $19, and it's Windows-based.
Storage Crypt.
Storage Crypt, that's another one. 3. It's similar to Pen Protect, but it also supports an entire hard drive. Uses 128-bit AES, $29.95 single-user license, and also Windows-based. But OS X owners out there can create an AES 128 or 256-bit encrypted disk image of various sizes, partition types, and disk image formats using OS X's disk utility. You can use it on a fat formatted drive, but be aware of 4 GB file size limitations. It's free, and it works pretty well. Free is good. But if you don't want to have to worry about any of that software, you can just pick up a Kingston Data Traveler Elite 128-bit hardware-based AES encryption thumb drive.
Thumb drive.
It's got the password right on there.
I can't remember. What's the one that's like carved out of stainless steel? It's been case hardened.
Is that the Data Traveler for Enterprise?
No. This is like a third-party company. It looks like it plugs into an AK-40, not an AK-40, an AR-15.
An AK-47.
It looks tactical.
That better be password protected. The one I was just talking about, the Data Traveler for Enterprise, is mostly for corporations, and that features a 256 AES feature, either 100% encryption or a 2-partition variety with both public and encrypted partitions. So you've got some options.
And we would like to remind you, if you carry your encrypted drive over a border, customs can make you turn over the password or take your gear.
Snap!
So if you want to do weird stuff involving borders, do yourself a favor and don't leave it on your computer.
Yeah.
And when I say weird stuff, it could also be corporate secrets, because somebody could be like, you look shifty, I want to see what's on that drive.
Paul has a very practical question. He writes, "Hey Patrick and Veronica, I tend to use the same group of websites for each type of projects I work on, but don't need them all the time. Is there a way that I can click a button and the 5 or 6 websites that I would often visit for these various projects could pop up in a browser with all the tabs coming up rather than opening each website individually?" So, Paul, with most browsers, you can save a group of bookmarks under a single link in the bookmark toolbar. In some browsers, you can also have multiple home pages on startup to save you any extra clicking. I looked at Safari, for example, and if you go to bookmarks, add bookmark for all these tabs.
I try to avoid Safari whenever possible, but
Huh?
I'm glad
I like
you looked
Safari.
at it. Well, that's nice.
Whatever. Anyway, you can go add bookmarks for these tabs, and that'll do it. So if you just want to have a bookmark for all of those tabs, or you can then go to the Bookmarks Manager and make sure the folder, we'll call it Openers, is in the Bookmarks bar. Make sure auto-click is enabled, and then just click the name Openers on the bar to open all those tabs at once. This is the best solution I could find on Safari, but if you're on Firefox...
Woohoo! Then your life is great! Sorry, I'm kind of waiting for Chrome to show up.
I like Firefox too, it's fine, but Safari, just whatever. Kind of the same idea. Bookmarks, bookmark all tabs, and that gives you that one bookmark for all of the ones that you want to open at once.
One of my favorites.
But if you want to do multiple home pages, which is very fancy, you can go to Preferences, Homepage, then type in the sites you want to open in new tabs upon startup, like this: http://revision3.com. Then you put the little pipe. You put the pipe in to separate all the URLs. And then when you start up
Don't confuse the pipe
Firefox,
with the tilde, by the way.
That's what it's freaking called, right? Like a pipe?
There's
What is that thing
called?
called?
Pipe, and then the tilde
pipe,
is the
right?
other
Okay,
weird
I'm
shape.
just making sure that I was saying
No,
the right
you're
word.
right.
People are like, the pipe, that's so stupid. Anyway,
Unless
that'll
it's in
make
French,
it...
in which case it's a peep.
You're a peep. Anyway, that'll open them all up at once, and you don't have to worry about clicking any kind of bookmark button of any kind. Or, alternately, you can install Morning Coffee, which is an add-on for Firefox that'll do essentially the same thing. For multiple home pages in IE8, you can just add multiple home pages under Internet Options. I can't, however, find a way to open the same group of tabs across different sessions. So it does like a save tabs thing.
Yeah.
So if it crashes, it'll reopen them. But
Yeah,
there's
but it
no
won't
like
let you
automatic.
save, like all tabs
Yeah,
open or something.
across different sessions. So if you guys have figured out a way to do it, like a command line thing, or I don't know.
Every time I go to save all tabs and it says no, because yeah, that face, only my version of it, which I can't do on command. And then I go search around the internets, and then I remember that there is no way to do it in IE8 that I've found yet. If you've found a way, or if they've updated it and I've somehow missed it, please email Tekzilla at revision3.com.
Yeah, a lot of other browsers do the same kind of grouping of bookmarks on the tab bar. So like I think Opera does it, and
it's like the perfect way to start your mornings. You have one item, and
it's like bam,
all of your cartoons.
You know, I
open
never
up
even
in
think
one
of
tab
doing that
news.
because I just don't do that.
That's because you actually close fewer browser windows than I do.
Real, I leave a lot open.
Well, I leave like everything open.
Are you
for
spying
weeks
on me?
end.
Are you watching my internet habits?
Ever so charming. I was helping Ryan out with a project. The very ever so charming David Prager runs the official Revision 3 store at revision3.com/store when he's not producing Dignation. Wants you to know that we've got Tekzilla logo Jelliskins in stock. The very lovely Veronica Belmont will model one on her iPhone right now.
Bam!
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 A mere $15 and your iPhone can look like our show. We've also got Tekzilla t-shirts for the ladies and the men, and the legendary but rarely seen Tekzilla hats.
Yes.
Yes.
You have one, don't you?
No.
No?
I've been trying to find one.
Oh.
I should order one.
I have a shirt I
wore
wore it a couple weeks ago.
I'll order one and wear it on the show
This
next
is
week.
hot. Look at that. You can get, I don't think they're up on the website yet, but you will be able to get matching wallpaper that can go on your iPhone as well. So when you turn on your iPhone, it looks like it matches the Tekzilla.
front
And then you can download the Tekzilla ringtone. And then you're just like, it's a perfect little package.
If you're trying to be the ultimate Tekzilla fangirl or fanboy, please buy the fabulous iPhone Jelliskins from revision3.com/store. App Judgment, people, it's rocking out. It's our mobile phone application review show for the iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry this week. Annie reviews Rock Band for the iPhone. There was much mocking of our Rock Band crew on the iPhone while they recorded this. And we pack 6 applications into a single episode for the second 30-second challenge. Catch new app reviews every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Revision3.com/appjudgment.
And for all of you watching, we live on your questions, so email us. Tekzilla at revision3.com. Tech help, product reviews, how-tos, you ask us, we'll do it. But we need those emails, so don't be shy. Send them in to Tekzilla at revision3.com.
Want to see your shiny face on our shiny show? Send us a video question. Just keep it to 15 seconds, upload it to YouTube, send us a link in the email with video question in the subject line. Shoot it someplace interesting, and you might get a special bonus.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Until next time, you've been watching Tekzilla.
We're so close to being done. Just go pee, go pee. Are you recording all of this? I wrote a blog post about Anthony Bourdain today. I hope he reads it. He won't. Although he is a blogger. He blogs.
Who?
Anthony Bourdain.
Oh, Bourdain.
My idol.
He's great. All right, hold on.
You smell that? That's bitter.